Hi, my name is Ms. Spencer, and welcome to Module 9, Day 7. Today, you will need a notebook, pen or pencil, and worksheets that your teacher has provided. Are you ready to get started? I am. Let's go. The quote for this module is, "The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible," by Oscar Wilde. The agenda for today is goals and overview, vocabulary, reading the Loch Ness Monster, and sharing out our new learning. The essential question for this module is, what makes something mysterious and what makes people want to solve mysteries? Today's learning mindset is problem solving. I try different ways to solve problems. Here are the goals for vocabulary. To review and extend understanding of word meanings, to use context to determine the meanings of unfamiliar words, and to elaborate on story details using critical vocabulary. Here's the vocabulary protocol. The teacher will say the vocabulary word once and clap it out. Then the student will say the vocabulary word once and clap it out. Then together, the student and teacher will read the definition out loud. Let's learn some new vocabulary. The first word is chastised. Your turn. Excellent. Let's read the definition together. If you are chastised, you are scolded severely. Pause the video in order to read the example. Our next word is sightings. Your turn. Perfect. Let's read the definition together. If there are sightings of something, people have seen it with their own eyes. Pause the video in order to read the example. Our next word is earnest. Your turn. Great. Let's read the definition together. If you say something in earnest, you are very serious and believe it to be true. Pause the video in order to read the example. Our next word is desperately. Your turn. Awesome. Let's read the definition together. If you are trying desperately, you are trying as hard as you can. Pause the video in order to read the example. Our next word is convinced. Your turn. Perfect. Let's read the definition together. If you are convinced of something, you are certain that it happened. Pause the video in order to read the example. Now that we've learned some new vocabulary, let's practice by creating a four-square map for each of our words. Here is a teacher model. The word I picked was transmitted. Pause the video in order to look at the teacher model. Now it's time for you to do it independently. Pause the video so that way you can complete this activity. Create a four-square map for each of our new vocabulary words. Feel free to go back in the video to see all our new vocabulary. Pause this video so that way you can complete the independent work here. Now it's time for independent work. With a partner or independently, complete page 193 of our Know It, Show It workbook. Pause the video in order to complete this task. Time to share out. With a new partner or with a family member, share out our new learning about our vocabulary words. Pause the video in order to complete this task. Awesome job so far. Time for a brain break. Pause the video as you get a drink of water and stretch your legs. Here is some new vocabulary that we need to know before we continue the lesson. Multiple meaning words. Words that are spelled the same but have more than one meaning. Pause the video in order to look at our examples. Let's do some independent work with multiple meaning words. We're going to watch the first minute of the Loch Ness Monster video. Listen for any multiple meaning words and work with a partner to expand your word list and use context to determine and write each word's meaning. Think of another meaning for each of the words and write a context sentence that demonstrates that meaning. The next minute will show the Loch Ness Monster video. Remember, write down your word list.
Loch Ness, a beautiful but forbidding lake in the Scottish Highlands. The first recorded sighting of the Loch Ness Monster goes all the way back to the 6th century, when an Irish monk was said to have chastised the vicious creature and ordered it back into the depths. But it wasn't until a string of sightings in the 1930s that hunting for the Loch Ness Monster began in earnest. London tabloids printed eyewitness accounts, and they desperately wanted a photo to go with the stories. In 1934, a London surgeon named R. Kenneth Wilson provided this snapshot. The image was immediately dubbed the surgeon's photo. It was printed and reprinted, appearing in countless newspapers and books, and the Loch Ness legend continued to grow. Then, nearly 60 years later, a man named Christian Sperling made a stunning revelation. The photo was the brainchild of his stepfather, Duke Wetherell.
Now it's time to share out. What word list did you make? Share with a partner or with a family member at home. Pause the video in order to complete this task. Here are our reading goals for this lesson. Here is more key vocabulary for our reading lesson. Media. The means of communication such as radio, television, newspapers, magazines, and the internet. And media techniques. The ways in which an author communicates ideas and information to viewers such as animation, live action, sound elements, and visual elements. Pause the video in order to take a closer look at our poster. Let's do some guided practice. Let's discuss reenactment and live footage in the Loch Ness Monster video. I will be answering these 3 questions after we watch the video.
Loch Ness, a beautiful but forbidding lake in the Scottish Highlands. The first recorded sighting of the Loch Ness Monster goes all the way back to the 6th century, when an Irish monk was said to have chastised the vicious creature and ordered it back into the depths. But it wasn't until a string of sightings in the 1930s that hunting for the Loch Ness Monster began in earnest. London tabloids printed eyewitness accounts, and they desperately wanted a photo to go with the stories. In 1934, a London surgeon named R. Kenneth Wilson provided this snapshot. The image was immediately dubbed the surgeon's photo. It was printed and reprinted, appearing in countless newspapers and books, and the Loch Ness legend continued to grow. Then, nearly 60 years later, a man named Christian Sperling made a stunning revelation. The photo was the brainchild of his stepfather, Duke Wetherell, a flamboyant big game hunter the Daily Mail had sent to Loch Ness to capture Nessie on film. According to Sperling, when Duke failed to come up with a photo, the paper fired him. So Wetherell decided to settle the score. Wetherell took a toy submarine, fashioned a Nessie-shaped head and neck, and launched the monster in the shallows of Loch Ness. He took the famous photo and later convinced the London surgeon to claim it as his own.
Now it's time to share out some of the learning from the video. Question number 1. What places does the live footage in the video show? The live footage shows the lake known as Loch Ness and the Scottish Highlands. Question number 2. What real-life people and events do actors portray? The actors portray a man named Duke creating a fake model of Nessie from a toy submarine and his stepson, Christian, putting the model into the lake. And question number 3. How do reenactments and live footage help viewers understand how the surgeon's photo was made in 1934? Reenactments help viewers imagine how Duke and his stepson Christian created the phony photo, and the live footage helps the viewer picture where these events took place. Did you get the same answers? Great job! Let's continue learning. Now it's time for some independent work. You are going to write your own video review. Make sure your video review begins by naming the video, summarizes the main ideas and details in an order that makes sense, includes your opinion and provides reasons to support it, and ends with a memorable conclusion. Pause the video in order to complete this activity. Let's share out our independent work with a partner or with a family member at home. Pause the video in order to share out your new learning. Pause the video in order to complete this task. Awesome job! We're almost done. Let's wrap up this lesson. Let's reflect on our learning by sharing how we used our understanding of media techniques during our independent work time. Pause the video in order to jot down some ideas. Wow, we learned so much today. Thank you for learning with me. If you liked learning with me today, here are some other videos where we can learn together. Have a great day.